this work of researching a vulnerability, finding the proof of concept, or understanding the paper, building a PoC for it that will be used, it will usually take days, and sometimes will take even weeks before we start having something working. So this is an extremely time-consuming effort, and it requires a level of expertise to understand what is, for instance, a command injection, what is a serialization bug, how can I actually understand and leverage that particular vulnerability to both detect it and then go ahead and exploit it. So the question that comes to mind is, can we leverage any of these new capabilities to address that? So what I'm going to be showcasing here is a tool called the Generate PoC. So let me quickly just increase the font of my screen so that hopefully you could see it. So we have a tool here called Generate PoC that we will actually be open sourcing, which given a CVE, it will go ahead and will research that vulnerability. So in this case, it's using GitHub. It will go and then it will search for that particular CVE, any mentions of an exploit, any mention of a proof of concept, any mention of a vulnerability details, and it will leverage that to first understand the vulnerability and then try to build an exploit and a PoC for it. So the first thing that actually happens is that when it's doing the research, it will return multiple results. And the first step that will come is, can we leverage actually the AI to find relevant results that can be used? I'm using an example that actually we've already open sourced the detection. So this is why I'm using this as an example. But what it did here is that it found actually a nuclear template, and it found it to be relevant across 45 results. It found actually the original PoC, which was apparently published by ADISEC, and then it will reuse all of this information to go ahead and then build a proof of concept based on that. I did already run this. It will actually, while this is running, let me quickly show what it will do. So I did run this just a couple seconds before, and what it did is it actually did the analysis, and then it generated an explanation of the issue. So you could see here, it did understand this is a vulnerability which is affecting this particular endpoint, which is the get hash for wildcard. It found exactly what are the mechanisms to exploit it. It found what is the detection. So this is actually a pingback. It's using Interact SH, which is another open source pingback server, which is similar to actually maintained by the same team as Nuclei, and it generated a proof of concept from the available PoCs. This is written in Python, and I have here a very nice explanation of the issue, how exactly I should be able to use it. This is the target I'm given, and then I have the source code which is available and all the resources of that particular finding. So this is something that will give us, instead of having to research vulnerabilities, understand how it works, and then build the detection for that particular issue, which can take hours and sometimes days, all I had to do just specify the CVE, and it's able to do the research, understand the vulnerability, build valid PoCs, and we could actually push this much farther. We could let it actually go to platforms like Shodan or FUF, and then it will try to find vulnerable assets, test the PoC on them, see if this is actually working or not, rewrite this into our framework or technology that we are using, and ship a very useful description. So we can really push this and use a lot of the glue that was hard and to automate, to leveraging this AI to be able to solve that problem.